This is Keegan Selecki, Head of Youth Services at the Troy Public Library. Today, I'm going to show you the Explora database and how to use it to find ebooks and articles for your school projects. We're going to start by going to troypl.org, which is the library's website. Now, this is important to always gain access to Explora through the library's website. Explora as a database is different than the internet. Not everyone has access to Explora, for instance, or other databases. Usually they're restricted based on someone paying for them for you. In this case, the Library of Michigan pays for Explora. So if you just bookmark it or you just do a Google search for it and click on Explora, it might not know that you have access to it. But if you click on it from our special links on the library's webpage, then it's going to know that you're supposed to have access. So once we're here at the library's website, we're going to see a link called Resources A to Z here on the side menu. So we're going to go ahead and click on that. And this will take you to a full list of all the library's databases and resources. Here in the center, they're listed alphabetically, and here on the side, they're listed by topic. There's actually two versions of Explora. There's Explora for primary school, which you're going to find under Kids Homework Help. And then there's Explora for secondary school or high school, and you're going to find that under the Teen Homework Help section. It is the same database. It looks pretty similar. I already have them both up here. The real difference is the results that you will get back when you do a search. The content you get back if you are searching for primary school database is really meant for that age group, and then for the high school and secondary school, that's the content you're going to get back is content meant for that age group as well. There's a lot of different ways you can navigate. You can navigate by these finders down here, or we can do a search. We're going to pretend we're actually looking for information on the American Revolution for today. So we're going to go ahead and start there. Whenever you're doing a project, it's important to think about the keywords you're using to do your search. For instance, if we're looking for the American Revolution, we could start just by searching revolution. But we're going to get a broad variety of results. For instance, up here we see our search results. We have 1,670. If we scroll down, there's the American Revolution, the French Revolution, the Industrial Revolution. So there's a lot of things in here that we're not really looking for. So let's change our search results. And you see it tries to do the work for you. It gives you some suggestions. So American Revolution, the American Revolutionary War. Maybe we want to be more specific. Maybe we want to search for taxes of the American Revolution or spies or the Stamp Act. So if you're doing a very specific research project, that can help you there. But we're just going to do the American Revolution for today. You can see we have a much more manageable list of results. We're down to 475. But that's still a lot to go through. So we might want to consider something like relevance, which is over here. Relevance makes sure that the items that are more likely to match our search term are closer to the top. That means we don't need to go all the way down and look at all 475 items, because by the time we get to that bottom of the list, those items are less likely to be important to what we're looking for. Other options are sorting by date newest or date oldest. And that might be important if our topic was something like pollution in the Great Lakes, because maybe we want the newest sources so we have the most up-to-date information. Over here, we have some more options to limit our results. For instance, there's this publication date, and we can limit it by actually choosing specific publication date years. So maybe, for instance, if something in particular happened in history and we only wanted results that were written around the time of it happening, that could be useful. We can also limit by sources here. So right now we have all results, but we could limit to magazines or reviews or ebooks or encyclopedias. The more interesting one, though, is this primary source documents. So primary sources are sources that were created or written by people who directly experienced an event. And if we scroll down here to the bottom, we can find result number 10 here, Recruiting and Maintaining an Army, and it's actually by George Washington. And here in the summary, it tells us it presents the text of a letter written by George Washington to the Continental Congress in 1776. So we can actually click on it and we can see this HTML full text of this letter that was actually written by George Washington. But let's go back to our search results, and let's go back to all results. And it's just taken us a second here. Here we go. So let's scroll down to Heroes of the American Revolution. Here, as we kind of saw with that primary source item, we always have who's it by, there's a summary, there's also a preview of a list of subjects. We can see it's available as a PDF full text item. We can see the table of contents if we hit the little plus sign, and also we can see the most relevant pages from this book. But let's go ahead and click and go inside this one. Here the categories are listed as hyperlinks. So let's say we decide this was a really good item and we want to see more like this. We can actually click on any of these to see more items with those same topics, so we can see other similar things. But right now we're going to go ahead and open this item so we can take a look, and this might just take a second because it's a bigger file. And while that's loading, I'll talk to you about some things up here. There's lots of different things you can do with this once you have it open. You can save pages, email pages, print pages, you can cite. So if your teachers are telling you that you need to cite your sources and cite them in a particular style, there's a variety of different sources where you can just pull the citation and use it. So for instance, there's APA, there's Chicago, MLA, those are the most common ones, and you can just pull those right out of there. You can also use a permalink. So if you're working on a project with a partner and this is a source you think that you guys should use for your research, you can share it with your partner. Teachers can also share these links with their students if there's a resource that you want all of your students to look at. It will take you directly to the source. This also integrates with Google Classrooms and Google Drive. There's also option to add it to your folder. So let's say we really like this one, but we want to keep searching for other results. We can go ahead and drop this in our folder, and I'll show you the folder options in a minute. We can scroll through this as you would any book, and it's still loading a little bit. But the other options are you can skip to a particular chapter, and you can also search within the item. So let's say we only want to see instances where they are talking about George Washington. Sorry, this is lagging a little bit. So let's search for George Washington here. So these are all the results related to the keywords we used up here. There's 29 results found. So let's click on this one. And you can see when we click right on it, it's exactly highlighting the terms. You'll see that it is also highlighting because we did not use any quotes in this. So it is only showing us, the appearance of these two words together and also independently. So that's why it's also highlighting George over here in reference to King George III, while also referencing George Washington himself. So some of the results might not be as accurate. The ones closer to the top are more likely to be accurate, and you can see that in these little previews. But as we scroll further down, you can see it's only showing us results for Washington. There's one for George III. So again, you might have to take some time and sort out ones that are less relevant or important to what you're doing. We also have the option to write notes. So perhaps we want to write a note in here where we think this is a great source on George Washington. We can type that in here. Or probably more specifically, what you're going to want to do is, if it's a really good source on something in particular, or, something was mentioned that you want to be able to remember that this is where you found it later, this would be a great option of adding notes. So we've added this to our folder. We've added some notes. Let's go ahead and go over to our folder over here and see what we have. I have already created an account and I'm logged in, but to use this feature, you would need to create an account and remember your password. So here we can see that I already have a couple things saved in here. I have these two items, and it's very easy that I could link back out to them if I decided I wanted to look at it more closely again. And also here in my notes box, I see that I thought this was a great source on George Washington, and I was saying that in reference to here's the American Revolution. And if I wanted to view the context from which that note was created, I can again link directly back to the item. And that's going to take a second to load. But I hope that helps you know a little bit more about Explora and how to use databases in general for your homework. If you have any questions, feel free to email me directly, or you can always send an email to our Youth Services Desk at ysref@troymi.gov. Have a great day.